G'day gang, Simo and Ed here.
Hi there.
For another episode of the Fast Line Track Growth Show.
A habit, isn't it?
Yes it is. So we're going to be talking about all things karting and business.
We are indeed.
What is the topic for today?
Well, this is a bit later in the day than we'd normally be filming because we've been talking a lot, but we decided to talk about how to drive Footfall to your go-karting track. And I think there's a few elements there that would really work. So that's what we're going to get into. I think with a warning, to start with. And the warning is this. I always say there's nothing new under the sun. And I think we're going to give some simple ideas really on how to drive Footfall. And it's easy to dismiss and think that I'm already doing that. But this requires action over intellect. The trick really is how can I do this better? Because that's where real progress is made. So rather than intellectually go, oh, we've got it covered, it's like how do we make these steps better? But I think the valuable things that we've noted down, and we'll kick off from there.
I totally agree with you. We've been working together for a number of years now, and you would think I'd be applying a lot of the things we talk about to my business, and
if only.
But I went back and after one of the videos, I went back and had a look at our average customer value and found a few holes.
Did indeed.
And we're working to fix those. So you've always got to revisit these things.
This is so true.
Cool. So increasing footfall.
Yeah, we're going to look at half a dozen ideas on how to get increased footfall in your kart track. And the first one really is a nice simple one, but tidy up the welcome area. So simple. It's one of those difficult things, isn't it? I fell foul of this in my own business because reception area, you walk past it every day. Little things happen over time. You don't really notice that there's a problem, do you?
No.
Until one of the ladies in the office went, "It's a bit grim down there." And I was like, "What's she talking about?" And then when I went in with a fresh pair of eyes, I was like, "Actually, the reception area had got a little bit grim."
Yeah, well, we spruced up our reception area
Yeah.
after the first lockdown. Because we just wanted to have a bit of a fresh, welcoming back environment for the staff. More so than visitors, because you probably weren't meant to have visitors.
Well, true. But I think if you've got a kart track, you've got, it's not just the welcome area though, is it? It's where particularly if you've got car parking outside, what does the car park actually look like? And, is there weeds poking through? Is there a bit of litter? The oil stains from the cars there. So you just need something that says you're coming to a quality establishment will certainly help. And as people go past, or if there's any photographs on social media or anything like that, it's just supporting that actually this is a great place for you to come along, to just remove resistance really with potential customers to come and have a look at the track. And then the next thing then, what happens when they cross the threshold? Is it obvious where to go? Is another thing we've talked about briefly in another video, but is it bloody obvious where you need them to go and where they will get some help to go and have a fantastic karting session and really enjoy it? And then what happens when you walk into the foyer area? The last time I went karting, there was loads of iPads there.
Yep.
No, it'll be different now. Well, yeah, so it'll be different now, I hope. But when you got there was all like thumbprints and fingerprints all over the screen.
Yeah.
Now, back then it didn't matter so much.
No.
But if you're in a post-COVID environment, that might be as far as they get. So really have a look at making sure that welcome area, get a fresh pair of eyes on them. Heck, send us a video.
Yeah.
Video your own welcome area, send it in to us, and we'll give constructive feedback if you want the fresh pair of eyes you might be looking for.
Yeah, sounds like an idea. Yeah, I mean, that is so important. It reminds me of that, and you've talked about this before, and maybe in one of your presentations, maybe at the Spectacular, the coffee mug stain on the airline drop-down tray. It's sort of like, just these little things, but your customer thinks, well, if they're not out there maintaining the car park and there's weeds coming through, are they maintaining their cars properly?
Yeah, and just to touch on the point, so the point about the name escapes me, we'll have to remember. SAS Airlines was it? Yeah. I think so. They're phenomenal growth in America, and the new CEO came in and he started to change things, and it was the little details he got right. And one of his quotes famously goes something like, If our passengers see a coffee stain on the drop down tray, they know the engines aren't being maintained. And it was just a complete overhaul for them, and they really got phenomenal growth in a really short space of time.
Sweat the small stuff. We say that a lot.
As always.
1% incremental change continuously compounds.
Yeah, well, if you do that in 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 areas in your business, 1% plus 1% plus 1% plus 1% actually doesn't add up to 3 or 4%. It has a huge impact on your business.
Yeah. Second point.
Next one, partner with local businesses.
That's always a smart move, isn't it?
Well, it really is. Just hanging out with people that understand business, first of all, is smart. That's why the Spectacular was such a good move for the kart track owners that came along there. But secondly, understanding your competition is actually the other businesses. Now, if you want to get really smart about it in the local area, partner up with them, work with them, so you can all have a share and a greater share. So if you've got, I don't know, like a deal with like the local restaurant, for example, then part of that could be, if I refer somebody, perhaps you'll refer people back to me, or perhaps there'll be a lump sum payment, or perhaps the catering in the kart track could change. I mean, you just don't know where these things can lead.
I know several kart tracks who have done joint ventures like that, where they've bought their catering in from a business that is outside of theirs, and they will provide all of the catering for their group bookings and things like that. And then you don't need to invest in that kitchen area. You don't need to have a good chef. Use somebody else's. It's a smart move.
Well, the local bar I drink in, one of them, there was one night I turned up and they said, "Oh, there's no food tonight." And I said, "What do you mean?" And they're like, "Oh, there's some problem in the kitchen." And I was like, "Oh, it's just a pain. I just want to sit down, have a beer, a little bit of food, go home." But they're like, "No food." I know, well, there is food just over the road there. And they've got like this amazing burger bar. So I popped across the road because the owner still wasn't having it. I popped across the road, came back, said, "I've just had a chat with the owner. Here's a few menus. This is what he'll pay you if you want to go." And now, in the evening, he stopped using his kitchen. He now just offers the burgers from across the road.
Wicked.
The deal that I brokered. I got a very round sum of money for that suggestion. He hasn't even given me a free drink, actually. I'm going to show this video, and I'll just we'll say no more, and I'll report back in a few weeks and see how that went. So partner with your local business, really sound idea.
If you support each other, they might come down with their team. You can get sponsorship for your track. So there's quite a few tracks that they have the different liveries on the karts, and they're sponsored by local businesses.
I think I really like that as an idea. The other thing you'll get as well, just by speaking to other business owners, is massive insight. And if you can just set up an environment where you just talk to each other, you just pick up stuff. I've mentioned in previous videos, I play golf. The guys I hang out with, we've all got our own businesses, and we just spend in amongst just ripping into each other constantly. When there's a problem, we come up with a solution very quickly because we've all encountered business situations and we've got different ways of tackling stuff from different sectors. We build up best practice from it. So it's just a really cool way to spend your time hanging out with people like that.
Yeah, I mean, we used to do a lot of that, sort of a mastermind environment, and that was enjoyable until COVID ran it awry.
That's right. Well, we should just perhaps quickly explain. Mastermind environments typically, you can get it wrong actually, but you just need 8 to 10 people, something like that, no more than 12, just sitting down, business owners with a bit of time to share what's going on in their business. And out of that, Mastermind's a phrase that was coined out of Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, classic book. So that was definitely one that you should have a quick read. Not the easiest of reads, but he's an interesting character. That is where the term mastermind comes from, and the mastermind is the additional thinking that comes from around the table, this additional virtual mind that happens when business owners get together. Right, so that was the second point, partner with local businesses.
Yep.
The next point that we talked about was build customer loyalty.
I think this is an area that kart tracks could have some massive gains.
Yeah.
Because a lot of tracks, you go one, you don't go karting maybe for years. So if they start doing things like, when they're there, offer an incentive to come back for the next time. Because when you got them there, they've come off the track, they've got adrenaline buzzing through their bodies, the dopamine's working, and they're fired up. At that point, you sort of go, right, can we book you in for another session? I can give you 5% off.
Yeah. Well, I've got a theory here, and you will know if you're watching this video, but if I was sitting down with you now and you're just you're stumbling across this point now for the first time, but if I sat and asked you, what is your strategy for building customer loyalty at your kart track? I just wonder what sort of answer would come back. And I think I'll give you a clue where I think it's at, and I think the trick here is to over-communicate. Now what I mean is you will think, well, the classic, as we always, and it is a little bit of a joke really, but it's like the birthday text or email comes out, it's your birthday, do you want to come karting again? But we would seriously underestimate how many times we can speak to somebody through various mediums, social media, emails, even the odd text message, even a phone call occasionally would not go amiss. You would seriously underestimate how often you can speak with somebody before they get a little bit upset with you. But even if you just put something in place, ideally once a week in my head, but if it was once a fortnight, my question would be, what is your strategy for the 26 times you're going to contact them in a year? One of those can be their birthday. Maybe even 2 or 3 of them can be birthday. Because you could have a running up, like sort of series of texts and emails that would do that and make a big deal of that. You've got a couple of other things in there. Christmas is going to be a biggie, depending on
Father's Day.
Father's Day is another one. The holiday periods, the bank holidays are coming up. Once you start to just map it out on the calendar, you're probably only going to have like a dozen things you've got to come up with that would keep that over-communication a possibility. And if you're communicating with somebody and reaching out regularly, and they've got a positive experience still buzzing or a memory of a positive experience with you, so much more easy to go and build brand and customer loyalty to the point where they're just looking at your track in a very different light very, very quickly.
But those communications need to be entertaining and enjoyable. You know, we talked a lot about this, I think, in the first or second video, you know, so go back and watch those and you'll get a bit more tips.
Yeah, copywriting in particular, never easy, is it?
No.
Simple, but not easy, but you're right. We do have to entertain and educate. If you're just telling them about the latest offer at the kart track a dozen times in the year, I'll just give you a little clue, but you know this already, you've got it wrong. So it's got to really appeal to people and encourage them to read without necessarily asking for money all the time. Get them to just engage in doing something or just interacting with the track or the social media or something like that. Be a really, really smart move here.
Yeah, I mean, quite often the emails that I generate for Fastline, they're not asking for money.
Yeah.
They're not peddling a product. Every now and then I might, and that's fine. But most of the time it's just engaging content that I hope is enjoyable to read. I mean, some of the feedback I get from it, it's being read, you know, and that's just a gentle reminder that, hey, Simo's here, needs some parts, products, you know who to call, you know, and that's it.
And also, but if you can write emails or communication where people feel like they discovered something, and it's hard, it's like magic. If you read something and it just makes like the old butterfly, and you feel like, oh right, I know that. Not a lot of people know this. People tend to own that information, and if they feel that they've owned the information because you gave it to them, they feel like they own part of your track, and they take you more to heart. And all customers aren't equal. We'll talk about this in another video. But all customers aren't equal. There's customers and there's raving fans. There's a couple of steps in between. And to get raving fans, the people that will actually defend you on social media should somebody sort of say something negative about the track, that's quite a tough place to get to if you're not communicating with them, if you're not giving them those discovery feelings, if you're not reaching out occasionally. But if you can create a whole bunch of raving fans, that would be your whole revenue base for a whole year without having to say, come and buy something all the time. They would just turn up and spend money with you.
I wrote an email for when we opened up after the first lockdown. I worked very closely with one quad bike centre to get himself opened back up. When there was sort of no real sort of solid guidelines. And I wrote him an email. No, it was a social media post. It was to go on Facebook, that's what it was. And I wrote this for him and sent it across to him. He emailed me back and he said, "You made my girlfriend cry."
I'd like a word.
I'm sorry. It was an offer out to the NHS to, you know, as a bit of a reward.
Yeah.
I can't remember how it went, but it's something along the lines of, you've been working so hard, you haven't seen your kids and that, come along to XYZ quad biking, karting, and your ride's free, bring a couple of mates.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Smart offer as well.
Yeah.
That's so good. If you're struggling with email, don't struggle alone, reach out to us. We'll find a way to go and help you. It's not an easy thing to start with. It can be, it is a learnt trait. Nobody's born with this, but if you're struggling, just reach out and we'll do something for you.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, talk about an offering, we just touched on it. Like, that brings us neatly, it's like we almost planned this. Our fourth point, sort your offering out is what I've written down, but let's just soften that slightly. Get a really organised offering structure for your go-kart centre. Will help immensely here. So you're just looking for, you're looking for your ideal customers, ideally. There should be a couple of entry points where one person can, pretty much everybody can get involved. That'd be a really smart thing, so people will start to look. How many times have we all seen priced from? And I already know that I'm not going to be paying the priced from amount, so I'm already set up. I'm going, right, okay, what am I looking at? But interestingly, in my head, I discount the from price. So priced from, I'm like, well, I ain't paying that. You tell me what else you're going to offer me, tempt me a little bit, get that right, and I'll go and pay a little bit more. And then there'll be a few people out there, the unicorns, are looking for the ultimate pricing. So we'll talk about pricing in detail over these videos anyway. You'll be able to glean it from them.
Yeah.
But you want something that's a nice easy entry level, something where pretty much 80-90% of your customers are buying in that middle band.
And then premium.
Yeah, but your premium is almost like the 2 or 3 people that just go, yeah, money's no object. I want the gold-plated steering wheel. I want champagne on the podium, but no Prosecco. It's got to be the champagne Churchill drank. And I want one of his original bottles. And could you just drape a tea towel over your arm as you present it to me? But people would pay for that experience, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
So getting your pricing, that is never ever wasted time, just sitting thinking about your pricing strategies, thinking about what people are really coming in for. I know we've had a couple of emails and people have reached out to us and we're looking at some bits and pieces that will help with tracks here.
Yeah, well, I mean, interestingly enough, we got another piece of fan mail last week.
That's my dad. Every time we get some fan mail, I'm going to go through my whole family.
It was from Kathy on the Isle of Wight.
Hello, Kathy.
Hey, Kath. And she advised us that she had worked on her pricing strategy too and introduced a nice new offer in the middle.
Good.
So, that's good. I'm glad these things are helping.
Yeah. They really do, and there's a little leap of faith in there, isn't there? But we've got the evidence that this works. So if you're sitting there and you're wondering about, if you've got just 1 or 2 prices, or if you're wondering how this will work or if it will work, be bold, be brave, get stuck in there. It will work for you. Any issues, come and have a chat with us. We'll work with you.
Yeah. So that's it from us for another week.
Till the next time.
Ciao.